Okay. It reads live, so it's we're live.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't even see it. Hi,
Yes.
John. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. That's good. This is Janice Skychi Travels with the Skychi Travel Guide Live, and our guest today is John Kelly. And the name of your company is John?
Black Tokyo Tours.
Okay. And you are in Tokyo, in fact.
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you been in Tokyo?
I've been in Japan on and off for about 10 years now. I was in the military at first. I was stationed here three times actually, and I got out of the military in 2011, and I decided to come back here and get a job because I like the area a lot, and so that's why I'm here. So on and off, I've been in Japan a total of probably 70 years, but not consecutively, on and off. But I've been here since
Okay,
2011.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. So tell people a little bit about life in Tokyo.
Well, like I said, I love the city. It's fascinating. There's so many things to do here. It's the largest populated city in the world, I think. And it's very crowded here, but it's amazing. I love this city, and I just wanted to share that with people who look like me in the States who may not want to travel to Asia or may fear coming here. But it's a great country, first class city. People are very nice, and I wanted to share that with people. So I created Black Tokyo Tours.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about Black Tokyo Tours.
Well, it came about actually. My best friend, um, I had several people come visit me because they never been to Asia, and so when they would visit me, I would show them around. I'm fluent in the language, so I could get by. I know the layout of Tokyo very well, so it came about that way. It was just something that happened. He said, maybe you should do this for a living. And I was like, wow, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So I just I started the company this past spring, and I'm just happy to be doing it. So it's just something that happened naturally, organically. It just happened because I was doing it for my friends, and they said, well, you should charge and have people pay for your services because you know the city very well, you speak the language, and so I'm happy to be doing it, and it's a great place to be.
Fantastic. So if someone were to sign up for your tour, Black Tokyo Tours, what would they expect to see?
Well, they're going to get first class treatment. First of all, you sign up. We're going to send you your itinerary, your hotel reservations straight away. When you arrive here, we have a flight that's coming out of where you are, Janice, in Chicago. I chose Chicago because it's centrally located in the United States, and they're a major hub for ANA, All Nippon Airlines. So we use a Japanese carrier because we wanted to give our customers that Japanese experience first off, from flight to arrival to departure. So we use that carrier. Once you get on the carrier, you're going to notice a difference. You're going to notice that the staff is very professional. Customer service is second to none. And so we're going to fly from there to Tokyo Narita Airport. Now, Narita is located about an hour, 30 minutes from the center of Tokyo. So what's going to happen there, one of our representatives will meet the customers there at the airport, ensure that they get through customs and all that okay, that we encourage you to buy the Japanese Rail Pass before coming to Japan. You cannot purchase that locally. So we're going to encourage you to get that. We make sure you get the Rail Pass. And then we will chauffeur you on a limousine bus with a restroom facility on it from the hotel, from the airport rather, to your hotel, which is in Shinjuku, which is a major center of Tokyo. You're right in the middle of Tokyo. And that's what we're going to do on the first day. We're going to let you rest up a little bit so we don't have anything major planned because, you would have flown approximately 12 and a half, 13 hours from O'Hare to Narita. So we want you to rest up, but then after that, the tour starts. And they can expect first top-rate treatment from our staff, from our agency, and we're going to ensure that we don't skimp on anything. You're going to get first-class treatment.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what are some of the sites that they're going to see?
Pretty much, you're gonna get to see. They have the structure called Skytree they built like 3-4 years ago. It's the tallest freestanding structure here in Asia. They're in competition with the Dubai structure, but that's another thing. How they built the thing is, you'll see, is totally incredible. There's going to be a river cruise, a boat cruise on the river here, and you can see Tokyo from that area. In addition to that, we have 2 trips that are going one to Nara and the other to Kyoto, where you can see different castles and different other historical landmarks there. And then what we incorporated 2 free days where customers will pick his or her own trip, and we'll make all the arrangements and make sure that they get to where they need to go without any problems. So we'll do the translations. We'll tell you what route to take. We ensure that you'll get to your destination without any problems at all. So because Tokyo is, I don't know if people understand, it's like the New York over here. It's so much to do, and the tour is 10 days. You're actually going to lose a day because you're traveling over the date line. But it's 10 days, and it's hard to see this entire city in 10 days. So that's why we allot 2 days where you can travel on your own and do what you want to do, and we will ensure that everything's taken care of. And what I added on the second to last day, I'm a martial artist. I've been doing martial arts for over 20 years. And so the second to last day of the tour, I'm going to have a self-defense package in there where I will teach people how to get out of chokeholds, how to protect yourself, and and also with a history of self-defense to ensure that people are, what I will show you will get you out of situations. It won't make you an instant black belt, but it will make you pretty proficient at protecting yourself. Skills I have used in my naval career and also prior to my naval career.
Okay, that is so interesting. So you get a tour of Tokyo and you learn martial arts in Tokyo.
Yes.
Self-defense.
Self-defense. Well, yeah, self-defense, martial arts. But I cut through all the discipline that you get through, the martial arts, because it's really about discipline and focus and also repetition. So I cut through all of that, just give you the bare essentials where a person is able to defend him or herself. So.
Okay. And when do your tours launch?
They begin in March. March the 21st. I'm not sure on the date right now because I don't have it in front of me. I wanted to ensure that this broadcast went well. So yeah, it's March. It's just at the beginning of spring here in Japan. I made it so that it corresponds with what they call Hanami. It's cherry blossom season here. So as you know, Japan gave Washington, D.C. cherry blossoms. So the same time they bloom in Washington, D.C., in America they bloom here. But here there are many more cherry blossom trees. So it's very gorgeous, very beautiful. There's a tradition around that where the Japanese will go to a park, they'll have some wine, they'll watch the beautiful cherry blossoms, and then in about 2.5 weeks, they're gone until the next year. So it's like the beginning of spring for the Japanese. And I wanted black people, and yes, I use the word black people, to experience firsthand what Hanami is all about.
And how will Black people be received in Japan?
I'm glad you asked that question. A lot of people ask me that. Well, the Japanese are very respectful. Just I read today on Facebook where there are protests here in Tokyo about the decision in Ferguson. So the Japanese are very objective when they look at the news. They know what's propaganda. They know what's truth. And actually, they're my close circle of friends, and also friends I have who are not very close to me, they are very supportive of what's going on in Ferguson as far as the people, the uprising. I don't like to use the word riot. It's very, it's loaded language. But I
Yes,
think the people are
yes,
uprising.
protest.
Yes, the protests and the demonstrations. So yeah, they are. I don't want to get too political, but they are in favor of black people demonstrating and trying to make sure that they're treated fairly in the justice system, and they're just not systematically murdered by white supremacist policemen. So they, and also the comment I got yesterday, I was talking to a friend. They see this being very hypocritical of America to say something to Gambia about homosexual rights, but yet not addressing what's happening with black men and women in the justice systems and just vigilante justice that's happening in America. So they are very objective. Some of the nicest people you will meet. People always ask me, do they really like black Americans? I say, no. What are you trying to get at? Will you be discriminated against? Will someone follow you around in the store? The Japanese don't do that. So people notice when they get here that no one's looking at them, no one's pursuing them, no one's looking to single them out. That's not what happens here in Tokyo.
Good to know. Good to know. So, is there any Black history in Japan?
Yes, there is Black history in Japan. The way I learned about the Black history in Japan was through a movie by Mr. Tariq Nasheed. I think it's a series. It is a series. There are 3 movies. Hidden Colors. And in the first Hidden Colors, we talked about the samurai and how the history of the samurai stems from Africa and the martial arts from Africa. And there is a link, and that's part of the trip. We will go to Kyoto, is where the picture of Yasuke, which is he was dubbed Yasuke, and he was considered the first black samurai. So and also there's the other tour we're going to go to in Nara, which is both of these are like an hour and a half from Tokyo. So hour and a half. The distance is long, but we'll take the bullet train, so it will only take an hour and a half to get to these places. And you will see where there's one of the Black Buddha, where you can see obviously this person has African features, African hair. So those are 2 places that we will visit here on the tour. So yes, we're everywhere. We were the first human beings, so we're going to be everywhere. Our presence is all over the world, and it's being recognized now.
That is beautiful. A Black Buddha and a Black samurai.
Yes.
That is
Well,
beautiful.
Buddha comes from India. I mean,
So,
it's not, Buddha, the history of Buddhism is an extension of, kind of a simplified version of Hinduism, and it comes through India by way of China and to Japan. So our history, if you follow the migration patterns out of Africa through India up through Asia up to East Asia, and you'll see that we're everywhere. It's just in America, this knowledge, as Mr. Nishi said, is hidden. I mean, I know now there's a controversy about the movie Exodus and how they're changing different features on the Sphinx and stuff in Egypt to try to make it Caucasoid. So there's our history is there. It's just that it's not taught in Europe and in America. So that's why we need to get out and see these things for ourselves and realize that we're everywhere, and you know, the world is ours, and we don't have to stay restricted in America or feel like no one likes us. And that's the lie that is told in America a lot to black people, that no one likes you, and that's totally not true.
Wow, that's great. We definitely have to spread that message more so people will be more comfortable in traveling abroad.
Yes.
And
You that comfort as soon as you get here is it's that's what people notice. I lived like you and I both. We talked previously about living in France, and that's the first thing I noticed when I got to France for the first time in 1986. Is that I was waiting for that systematic white supremacy, and it's there. It's not like America. I mean, it's there, but I noticed that it wasn't directed towards people, African people in America. That it was really directed towards North African people because of the history of the war between Algeria and France. So it was different and refreshing seeing that, okay, well, this is the first time I'm outside of the United States apart from Canada. You're in Chicago. I'm originally from Detroit, so we go to Canada all the time. But I noticed when I was in Europe for the first time, wow, people are not looking or staring at me. It's not, people are not walking behind me, or I don't have to be constantly vigilant when I'm outside of the United States. And when you get here, you'll notice that. That's the first thing people notice. That wow, people are not, they're really not looking at me in a suspicious way. So, and living here also
that
the advantage,
yeah, that's good to know.
yes. And like one thing I put on customs and on my web page at blacktokyotours.com is in Japan you don't tip. Tipping is considered rude, um, but the customer service is second to none. Like I said previously, so you get this great service and you want to tip, but if you tip, it's considered gauche and rude, and so that's one thing I want people to experience too. Just good first class customer service, and without, they're not doing it to get a tip, they're doing it because it's part of their job. And so that's another reason I like being here.
And what type of foods can they expect to eat in Tokyo, in Japan?
Well, I read that black people, black Americans, are like the #1 consumers of seafood. Well, this is the #1 place in the world for seafood. Um, remember when I first got here and I thought, you know, I learned the word for shrimp, which is ebi, and I was expecting the little bitty ones when actually I got the long prawns and the lobster. The word for lobster too is ebi. So, and it's very, very affordable. And it's very fresh because they just get it straight out the ocean and give it to you the same day. So, if you love seafood, and I do have some pictures. My son and I recently went to a place that I was scouting out for customers. If you love seafood and steak, you heard of Kobe beef. It comes from here. Kobe is about 2.5 hours from Tokyo. This is, if you love Japanese food and seafood, this is the place to be. And other food as well. I mean, they have, we talked before about how their chefs are trained in the country in which the food they're preparing. So if you want French cuisine, you can get it here. The chef will be Japanese, but he trained at Cordon Bleu in France, but he'll bring that back here. So you'll get a French-style meal here in Japan as if you were in France. So that's one thing I do like about this. Anything you want, you can pretty much get here. It's like New York. So if you like New York, you'll love Tokyo.
That is interesting to the comparison between the food scene in New York and that of Tokyo. So that is something new. I never would have thought that the food scene would be so diverse.
It is.
I thought it'd only be Japanese food.
Well, they have that, but they have other food from other countries as well. Indian food here. Japanese are big fans of curry. You get every type of curry you want here. My son, he loves curry. Um, he could eat it every day. And they have Indian curry, but they also have Japanese curry, which is a bit milder. It's not as spicy. Equally, both are good, I think. Any food you want, pretty much, you can get here in Tokyo.
And so, what is the exchange rate? The
It's good
dollar
for
to the
now. Yes, it's before this year has been an up and down year as far as currency exchange. In the beginning of this year, 1 yen was worth 88 cents. Now it's $1 you get 122 yen. So the dollar has really increased its value in this year. I mean, drastically. So actually is in your favor now. At the beginning of this year was not in our favor, but now it's dollar's doing very well. So it's 20. You get 120 yen for $1.
Well, it's a great time to book then. Book your
Yes.
flight and hotel.
Yes, I know it's a bit early, but I know it's the holiday season in America. But after New Year, I'm expecting people to book because the flight. I want you to get a good rate on the plane because the airfare does increase as spring comes, as spring springs, and you want to get your tickets early. So I'm expecting a lot of people to book after New Year's.
Okay. And what do you recommend that people pack or bring with them? How should they pack?
Another great question, Janice. I greatly appreciate that question. Do not pack as if you're going to Las Vegas or another place in America. Pack as lightly as possible. Just bring like a little bit more than a weekend bag, because if you try to bring everything else, you're going to see that it's going to be kind of out of place. You're going to be awkward with all these bags, uh, and you probably won't wear all the stuff you bring anyway. So, and then also you may want to buy something. This is the fashion capital of the world on this side of the world as well. So you may want to buy something. And one of our trips is to a mall where you can actually buy things as well. So I tell people pack as if you're going on a weekend getaway, but just a little bit more. Don't bring like 2 or 3 bags. It's not gonna be very practical, especially on the trains. Everything is smaller here because the people are smaller. So you kind of want to keep that in mind when bringing bags and luggage and everything else. That's why I'm sitting
Okay.
kind of low in my house because everything here is small. Everything is closer to the floor, and we talked about that too last time. How having American furniture really doesn't work out well here because it's big and bulky, and you pretty much have to go the Japanese way to live comfortably here.
So you said it's the fashion capital of the world.
On this side
Do
of
they
Asia.
have in Asia?
Hmm.
So do they have clothes that fit Americans? Shoes? I mean, what can people
Yes,
buy in the
yes,
fashion
they do.
capital?
Yes, they do. However, you have to manage your expectations. They do have clothing to fit all sizes of people, but the variety may not be uh, for you may not have as much variety in the bigger sizes. So I'm like an extra large here, and I'm probably an average 195 pounds, 6'1" American. Uh, I also wear size 13,
Good,
14 shoes.
extra large.
Yes, yes, yes. So you just have to manage. You know, you can get a complex. You think, wow, I'm extra large. No, you're not. You're just an American and African, and they're Asian. They're just smaller. So manage your expectation when it comes to that. When I first got here and I would ask for my shoe size, I had to do the conversion, and I'll say, give me a 30, a 31 centimeter, and they, huh, 30? They'll give me that look. It's like, yeah, we don't have that. But then they have stores that will have your size.
Okay,
So
that's
just
good to know.
manage your expectations. Manage your expectations. Also, another big thing here is the 100 yen store. It's equivalent to our dollar store in America, and people come here and they buy so much stuff because you in our at Tokyo's 100 yen shop, uh, you can get incredible stuff for just what would be 80 cents now in America because of the exchange rate. But incredible stuff.
Like, for example, what? What can you get
Uh,
in the 100 yen store?
any from little accessories to watches to Hello Kitty stuff to it's mainly, I don't mean to stereotype here, it's mainly a woman's type thing. You know, I don't do that type of shopping, but all I know is when my friends visited me, they're in that store like for hours. So I'm waiting patiently for them to get through. They're in there for, wow, this too, this too. I say, yeah, everything in here is 100 yen. Okay, that's the name, 100 yen show. So that's one of the attractions here too. People just get carried away with it, and they stay hours in there.
Wow. Well,
And if
I
you want
might
to,
have to come look at the 100 yen store.
yes, by all means. Also, if you're an electronic, there's a district here where you can get great electronics. I mean, this is the place where they make the electronics that we use in the States. I remember when I first got to Japan in 2002, they already had like phones that would videotape. That was long before the iPhone came out and all that stuff. And I would bring it back home, and people were like, wow, wow. For some reason, the Japanese just flood the market with uh, uh, electronics. They flood the market instead of like America. You know, they announce the iPhone 6 months before, and then every year the iPhone this comes out. Well, they don't do that here. So whenever they have a good product, they'll just put it out. So the competition is just different here. There's so many different companies, and they all compete. Whereas in America, you got Samsung pretty much, and Apple, as far as phones are concerned. But here, you got um, other manufacturers who put out stuff, and the competition is really, so that's a good thing for Americans, because if there's more competition, that means lower prices. So some people I bring here, they're in that district, you know, days. And I say, well, you want to see other parts, but some people are into electronics and they just stay in that district. Uh, some people are into anime and manga and all that. There's a district for that. All that stuff comes from here. So there's
So
there's
explain anime to those who don't know.
oh, anime is just like cartoons. They use the French word anime, the Japanese. Sometimes they'll use a French word. They borrow words instead of making their own word up for something that comes from a country. A lot of American words are English words are in Japanese as well. But sometimes if something's uniquely from a different country, they'll use that name. So for cartoons, they say anime. And then that's like cartoon pictures. But also the cartoons that you read are called manga, and it's it's a phenomenon here. People read them all the time in stores, and then anime here is, if you're into that, it's my son likes it. So if you're into that, you can get it here. All of that stuff starts and originates here. I'm not a big anime fan,
Fascinating.
though. But
I'm not
people
either,
are.
but I'd be curious to see it.
Yes.
Yes. So, what else can oh, excuse me, Americans do? Okay, so they go over there and they should bring a weekend bag, and then they get there and they discover that they want to buy all these things and bring them back. So should they bring an extra suitcase that's empty? Should they buy a suitcase there?
Well, they can buy
What's
a
the
cheap
best
duffel.
way? Sounds like great
Well,
shopping.
yeah, you can buy a cheap duffel and fold it up and have it collapse and put it in your suitcase. If you can do that as well, um,
Oh,
or you
that's a
can
great
buy
idea.
a duffel here. I travel a lot, so I always go through whether to roll my clothes or to fold them. I go through that all the time. It seems like okay, both ways are equally effective, but I always bring a duffel. I go to San Diego a lot, so I always bring a duffel and collapse it, put it in my bag, and then if I want to buy something, just put it in that duffel. So I would encourage people to do that. And they'll see that ANA,
That's a great suggestion.
I don't know the policies off the top of my head, but I think you're allowed on an international flight with AA, you're allowed to have two full-size bats that are under 50 kilo. So roughly 90, no, not 50 kilo, but 70 pounds. So you can get two bags for free. So if you just bring that nice small bag, you can get a big suitcase and shop all you want, and you're still under the limit um, for bags.
So, are there taxes when you leave, or how does that work when you
If you,
purchase a lot of things, I guess?
I think the tax thing comes in at $10,000. So if people are
Oh,
going to spend that, then I think you have to pay taxes. But apart from that, no.
oh, that's good to know. Yeah, 10,000. Well, yeah. Some people may. You never know what they're gonna buy here.
I know that the Japanese routinely go to Guam. Guam is very close here. Guam has no tax. And the Japanese are very big on Louis Vuitton bags and Coach purses and all of that. And they can go to Guam on a 2-day trip, buy up the bags, kind of cheap, and then bring them back here and sell them. So a lot of people do that. Because here,
Ah, well, I'm sure the ladies would be interested in that.
A Louis Vuitton bag in Guam is half price of what you'll pay here. If you want the expensive Parisian or Italian things here, you're gonna pay for them. So a lot of Japanese go to Guam, buy the stuff at a discounted price, and then bring it back here and sell it. So that's a way to get around the taxes because Guam has no tax.
Well, that's a great tip.
Mhm.
I know lots of ladies that would be interested in the Louis Vuitton bags.
Well, they'll be very expensive here, I'll tell you. You can they're much more affordable in the U.S. Here, you're gonna pay a lot for them.
Okay, okay. So, what would the weather be like come March for the first tour? How
March,
should people dress?
it'll be it's just before the rainy season. It's actually not too hot, not too cold. So just a nice, I want to say a fall type coat. a spring, but not a windbreaker, something bigger than that. Just a nice jacket should be okay. So that's why I'm doing the
Oh,
tour. I'm doing the tour in this time frame because here from June to July is just rainy season. It rains the majority of the time. It doesn't start to clear up until late July and August and September, and October is really the best weather here in Japan. Today it's cold. It's about 35, no, 38 degrees. I'm doing the conversion in my head. So it's about 38 degrees. But it doesn't snow. It just hovers around 30, around freezing sometimes, but it doesn't snow here. Rarely. It'll flurry, but it won't stick.
no, that's good to know. So, oh, my question just went out of my head. I'm trying to think. Um, ah, oh my God.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I had a brain fog. I had a brain fog.
Okay.
I had a really good question too. Um, so the weather, shopping. I'm trying to think what else
Oh, security
should
here.
people know.
People are very safe here. I think I told you about the time I lost my wallet when I first came here, and it was returned to me with the money in it the very same night. Um, so people here are very courteous, very safe. Um, so if people have concerns about being robbed or anything, it doesn't happen here. Especially if you're a visitor from a different country, it's not going to happen to you.
Well, yeah, security is very, very important, especially for maybe single women traveling or solo travelers who on the 2 days may want to go off on their own. So that's very important that it's secure for them. So what about dating? What if somebody, wants to go out on a date with a Japanese person or some other type of person?
Um, I don't have any information about that. People want to date, they're welcome to date, but I don't know anything about that. That's people they on their free time or whatever. This is all their free time. They can do whatever they're adults. They can do whatever they would like to do. But you will see.
Well, I'm just wondering. Okay,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. You will see what?
Um, it's not uncommon to see like black women with Japanese guys. Uh, quite. You see that kind of frequently here in Tokyo. And also you'll see black men with Japanese
Okay.
women, or so it happens. But if that's what people want to do, I'm sure if they want to go out at night and go to clubs, I'm sure that's a possibility as well.
Of course, they're going to want to party. So, black people love to party.
Well, that's not a problem here. That's not a problem.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, there's this thing called swirling now. So, they
I know
do,
what swirling
there's one
is.
lady in Italy. She takes women out, and they go to the clubs or wherever, and so it's all about dating, because I mean, there's not a lot here in America, so we're traveling now. So if you're gonna
Well,
travel, they
whatever
may
you,
want to know.
yeah, there's a market for if people want to do that. I'm sure they can find the means to do that. But my tour, I'm focusing on historical things and showing them Tokyo, and people are adults, and they can find if they if they have different tastes, they can find that here. Tokyo
Okay.
does, Tokyo does have an underground, and I don't want to talk about that, but there is an underground here, and people can, I think, even more so than New York. So if people want to find those places, um, they are adults.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We will leave it at that. But I mean, that's a big thing now for men too, that they do group trips like that. So you never know what kind of business will come your way. I'm just preparing you here. What they'll be signing up for.
Well, for me, they're signing up for the tour. After hours, then that's on them. But people are
Okay.
they're very friendly here, very courteous, and like any major city in the world, if people want to get together, hook up, develop contacts, that's not a problem. And I actually encourage people to do that, to get business contacts. I'm very into black empowerment. So if you know someone here who can manufacture things that you may need back in the States, by all means, set up contacts and do business. Um, that's the best way to do it. I also, on the website, I talk about bring business cards. Yes, bring business cards. Everything here is done with the business card, and it's a technique how you exchange business cards here is a very traditional thing. One thing you want to do when you receive someone's business cards, you want to have your hands out like this. You receive it, you read the name of the business card, you make sure it's correct, and then you put it in your jacket pocket. Do not put it in your back pocket. That's considered rude here. It's like you're sitting on the identity of the person. The business card reflects the person's identity. So you want to make sure that you know, remember that because you want to make a good first impression if you're trying to come here and create business contacts. So I encourage people by all means.
That's a
Business can be any kind of business, but if you want to make a contact, that's fine. That's part of why I'm doing this. I have contacts here, and I've developed those contacts. So by all means, yes.
So what types of businesses can people, I guess, look to connect with? For
Well,
examples.
electronics. Maybe if you want something that's imported from Tokyo, you can go directly to the manufacturer instead of going through someone locally who has the hookup but is not letting you know. Um, whatever venture you want. I think mainly electronics is the big thing here. Electronics and other types of things. Maybe you want to go into business with Hello Kitty dolls or whatever. Instead of going to an American manufacturer, you can make a contact here and get it directly from the people here. So um, whatever the business venture is, and it has to do with Asia and Japan specifically, come with that in mind, and we'll see what we can do. We'll try to facilitate as much as we can, um, but have some idea of what you want to do, and we'll do all we can to try to help you in that endeavor. But sky is the limit. I mean, you're here. I like the movie. I know the content of the movie was not something that we should praise, but I always liked the movie American Gangster when Denzel's character said, "Hey, I'm going to go directly to where this is produced so I can develop contacts." And you'll see people will do business with you. People will do business with you. So bear that in mind when you travel. People think, oh, well, they won't do business with me because I'm black. No, money is money. People don't really care about that. Money is money, and doing business with someone is strictly professional. So I think if you bear that in mind and you come here and you develop contacts and you are professional, I don't see why it can't be a very good business relationship that you develop.
That's a great tip. So, I mean, you can take a vacation and do business and make money all at the same time.
Yes. And part of that is to open our eyes, and especially in light of what's going on currently in America, we have to become more entrepreneurial in our ideas and our thinkings and our ventures, and become more self-reliant as Black people. And that's, I think you asked me before, why the name Black Tokyo Tours, because instead of shying away from being Black, I'm doubling down on it. Like, hey, I'm Black. I don't have a problem with that. By me saying that I'm pro-Black doesn't mean I'm anti-white. That's a false dichotomy that people in America get sucked into. No, I'm not. I entitled my company Black Tokyo Tours because that's the clientele I'm marketing to. I want Black people to experience what I've experienced here. I love this area, and I want Black people to realize that, hey, the world is yours. You don't have to stay in America. You don't have to stay in Chicago or Detroit, where I'm originally from. You can get out and see the world and broaden your horizon. And it can give you some ideas of what you can do back at home. One thing I really admire about the Japanese is how that they're very self-reliant. And I think that we as Blacks, we can take and learn from each culture on how to be self-sufficient. And I really think that that's the way that we can address the issues that are currently going on in America, is stop, in addition to protesting, say, okay, we're going to develop a parallel economy so that people can freely say what they want, freely do what they want without fear that they're going to lose their jobs or that Blacks are not going to support them. Athletes like Muhammad Ali could say what he said at that period because he knew that there was a Black economy, that Black people were going to support him. Today, athletes are muted. They can't really say or do anything because there's not a parallel economy that will protect these people. So they use the word minority, or they use some other word that's not what they're really trying to describe, instead of saying Black. Like, these things are happening to Black men and women in the United States, not minorities. Black men and women. So part of me entitling that is to say that, look, I want Black people. I will support other businesses that will help me. You're in Chicago. Who knows? That could develop into a business relationship. So that's what I'm all about.
Absolutely.
That's why I entitled.
Absolutely. Okay. And since you mentioned Chicago, you said you lived here for a while as well?
Yes, my last
I
duty
know you
station.
said you're from
I'm sorry. My last duty station was Great Lakes. I lived in Lake Bluff, and then I deployed to Southwest Asia, not the Middle East. And then I came back and I lived in Waukegan, and I love the Chicago area. I mean, it's a little cold, and I've gotten kind of weak since I've lived in Japan. But I love the area. I really do. And that's one of the reasons why I picked the flight out of Chicago. So if people are from Chi-Town or Chicago, all they have to do is just go to O'Hare, and then one flight gets you to Tokyo. One flight, not even any connections are needed. One flight gets you to Tokyo. And I took that flight a lot, so I know it's dependable, it's always on time, and it'll get you here safely.
And what airline is that?
ANA, All Nippon Airlines. Everything on there is free, so I know on some international carriers they charge you for drinks. ANA, they're free. So the meals are traditional Japanese meals. The planes usually are 777 or higher. I think they even fly to 787. So I mean that thing is really nice, the 787. Um, and they fly over the poles. So the same time you fly from, um, like I travel a lot to San Diego, so I fly from San Diego to Tokyo, and that flight is 11 hours. So it's only a couple more hours if you fly from Chicago, because they fly directly over Alaska, over the pole, and down into Tokyo. So bring your cameras, because seeing that from the plane is gorgeous. Where you can see Alaska, you can see all the, it's beautiful.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Well, I'm sure everybody's ready to book now. So how can they contact you?
Go to the website. You can also call me. I have a local Detroit number. One thing about Detroiters, no matter where we go, we're going to represent our city, good, bad, happy, sad. So you can go to my website. My phone number is 313-995-9029. And the website is blacktokyotours.com. And the phone, of course, will ring here in Tokyo. Bear in mind, there's a 15-hour difference from here to Chicago, 14 from here to Detroit in the East Coast time zones. So we will get back in touch with you as soon as we can. Most of the times when you're getting up, we're going to sleep. But you will be contacted as soon as possible. I check my emails religiously every hour, and also when I'm sleeping, I get up, I'll check my emails. So we will get back in touch with you. I had some inquiries, and I have returned them as soon as I possibly could. But like I know, people are more concerned about the holidays. I get that. But after the holidays, think about travel. If you come to Tokyo, book with us. We will ensure that you see Tokyo, the sites that you want to see, but also you see the things that you may not hear about being in the States.
Okay. Well, thank you. There's a lot of information there, so people can be very, very prepared for their trip to Black Tokyo and see
Yes,
the African presence in
yes,
Japan
yes.
and be welcomed by John Kelly.
By me and
So thank
my
you.
staff. You're welcome. This was
By
a
yes, you and your
this,
staff.
yes, and this is very nice. I enjoyed talking with you, Janice. It's been great. Thank you for reaching out to me. I really appreciate that. Um, and like I said, I'm very excited about this venture, and I know that we're going to do well, because I know Black people will represent, and I support. Like I told you, I support as much as I can here. I uniquely shop with Black people. If there's a directory that a group I'm a part of has developed with all Black businesses in it, and I make sure I frequent those businesses, uh, to try to circulate our money as much as possible, to keep it in our community and to grow our own economy. So I think the way to our future is actually going back to what we did in the past. I remember, I'll just say this briefly, I remember when I was growing up in Detroit, there was two cab companies. One was Black. My mother made sure we called the Black cab company. We routinely did that. And we got away from that, and I think by necessity, we are going back to that. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We do need to block to buy black, support black owned businesses, and
Yes.
circulate the money within our economy.
Yes. All other communities do that, and that's a norm. But for us, we feel like if we're doing that, we're being quote unquote racist when we're absolutely not. That's just self sufficiency. Um, and as much as we do that, we're not dependent on others to help us. So I just think it's becoming a necessity now. Um, I don't like what's going on in the States, and the way I counteract that is I support black businesses. I support black causes. I donate my money to things that are going to address black issues, sickle cells. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to even get into it. I was going to go off on a political thing, but uh, you know,
Yeah,
if
we'll
I'm
stay out the politics.
if I'm gonna dump water over my head, it's gonna be for sickle cell. It's gonna be something that affects us. So that's just what I believe, and I practice what I believe. And I'm hoping that more black people do the same thing. And so that's why I'm waiting for your calls, and we will take care of you. And you'll see. And I told my staff, I don't care if we turn a profit the first or second year, or even the third year. Eventually, word of mouth will come, the numbers will come, and we will generate a profit. Now, we're in this for intrinsic as well as entrepreneurial value, but at first, I'm going to do this because I want to show people something that I saw the first time I witnessed this. And it's just, I fell in love with the ocean. Japan is an island, the ocean is everywhere. I know we got Lake Michigan in Chicago, and we got Detroit River in Detroit, but seeing the Pacific Ocean for the first time over here, it was just like, it did something. I don't know, I don't want to sound too sentimental, but it did something to me. It awakened something to me. And I know that can affect other people just like it affected me.
Well, thank you so much, John. So we're going to say goodbye to the viewers.
Bye.